They say you can tell a lot about a person based on the shoes they wear. I love shoes, but what I love even more is the person wearing them. As we walk a mile, my guests and I will talk about the kicks we wear, but more importantly, what we do in them. My name is J. Mallory McCree, and this is A Mile in These Shoes. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is J. Mallory McCree with AMNTS, A Mile in These Shoes. And today's episode is a lesson in fearlessness and not letting anything stand in your way. I am so happy to introduce y'all to legendary pro skater turned Rob Zombie film star. What? Yo, y'all ready to meet Pancho Moeller?
Yo, what's up,
What's
man?
good, bro?
Oh, so good to see
Yo, you ready to go take a walk?
Let's do this.
Let's go.
All right.
Where in the hell are we? Where are we?
Whenever I tell people where I live, it's basically in the Santa Clarita Mountains, an hour out of LA, in this town called Lake Hughes.
Oh my gosh, so we are in Lake Hughes right now, everybody. Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Santiago, Chile.
Hey.
And I moved to the States when I was 7 years old with my mother. She remarried a chef.
Oh.
A chef where he was an executive chef at the Marriott's. And so his job was to hire the staff, get the kitchen going, create the whole menu, make sure it's going good, and then he would get transferred to another resort.
Oh, wow.
So we moved around so much growing up,
yeah.
like all over the States.
Where did you actually have most of your stability?
California was always one of my favorite spots because of the great weather.
Uh-huh.
And so I started skateboarding at a very young age, and California was just, you could skate year round.
What were the challenges you faced with that?
Traveling a lot, you establish friends and then you move away, and that kind of made it hard to have like those lifelong friends. And then also it was hard because I was the only little person ever. So for the first few weeks of school, it was difficult.
Are there other little people in your family?
No, glad you asked that. No, not at all. Like my mom and dad are average size. Like my two younger brothers are like 6 foot tall. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like the only one. I'm the special one. I'm the golden child.
The golden.
But I've looked into my history and no, there's no other little person.
How did you start skating? Like, what were your influences? How did that even start?
Okay, well, being a kid, like I never really saw myself as being little, and I started to see it later on when because I was always very competitive. I was very good at sports. I was fast, but what started to happen is I wasn't being chosen for the teams anymore. That's when I kind of saw myself as different, and I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I saw these dudes at the mall skateboarding outside, and it was me and my mom, and she went into the mall. I'm like, I'm gonna stay out here.
Yeah.
And I just sat on the curb and just watched them, and I saw how much fun they were having, and how creative. It was just art happening right in front of me. And I told my mom afterwards, I'm like, Mom, that's what I want to do. I want to skateboard. That's looks like so much fun. And so that Christmas, I got a skateboard, and I never turned back.
What does it take to become a pro skater?
Being in the skateboard world, for me, as friends, we were all like a family. And so we were all very supportive of each other, meaning that my friends started telling me dude, we should make a sponsor me video. And a sponsor me tape is what it takes, at least in my time, of how to get seen, how to get recognized.
Right.
So we made these videos and we edit them, and then we would send them to different companies. And I was the first out of my friends to actually get sponsored.
What?
And so what happens then is they start sending you free product, free shirts, and then they start hooking you up with photographers to get pictures, and then you're getting ads in the magazine, and then slowly you go on tour, and then you build your name up. You're doing demos and everything. You build your name up. You're skating with all your best friends. I mean, you're doing something you're gonna do whether you get paid for it or not. And that's the love for it that we had. And then eventually your board becomes a high demand. And then when your board becomes a high demand is when the company's like, we're gonna turn you pro. Which means that we're gonna start paying you now, and you're gonna travel all around the world skating.
When did you know it was time to hang up the board?
probably like around the age of like 28, 29.
And what was that like for you? Were you ready?
It wasn't that I decided to hang up my board. I mean, I felt like my body was like falling apart, but I also, like mentally and physically, you know, like there's a lot of things that like came into play, like the party lifestyle, all like the influences I had, the addictions I had, like it definitely didn't help. And then also like my sponsors, if you're not producing, what good are you to them?
Right. I always take a second to let my guests know what shoes I wore because I specifically wear shoes in honor of my guests.
All right.
And today, I went van shopping.
Nice.
I went to the van store and I picked up these Jeff McFetterlins. These are a rare pair of Jeff. What I loved about these and the reason I wore these for this episode with you is because this one is all about dreams. Jeff is an artist who has worked with vans for a long time, but this specific one, he had a dream one day of this fake ski slope, and he decided to actually, he was like, I really want to figure out how to translate that idea onto the vans. And so he's got 3 different pairs, 3 different designs, but this one is supposed to actually be the people on the ski slope. And what I loved about this is that just the idea of dreams and how you have, you know, you had a dream of being a pro skateboarder and you accomplished that. You had a dream of being an actor, you accomplished that. I love how Vans always works with artists and they do these different art collaborations. A lot of people don't know, Poncho, that you are also a stunning visual artist. Like the guy, he paints, he does sculptures, you do all kinds of amazing artwork. And I just felt like it was so appropriate to rock with a dope artist. And so I gotta ask you, what shoes you got on now? What are those?
These are Nike Stefan Janowski shoes. Right now, this is like his like slipper, his like chill at home shoe.
Hey.
Kind of like almost kind of got a Latin vibe to him. Stefan Janowski is a pro skater for Nike shoes. He's one of my best friends, and whenever he calls Nike and is like, hey, send my boy Pancho some shoes, they'll send me like a stack.
I brought a skateboard. My man Pancho here, he's not gonna skate, but he's gonna give me some pointers on how to do a couple tricks. I don't know, what we gonna do, Pancho?
He's probably just gonna do a 180 or maybe a 360.
Okay, I don't even know what that means.
How are you gonna stand on it?
I don't know, like that?
Okay, so you're goofy footed, that's good.
Oh.
Now you always wanna have your back foot on the tail.
Oh, back foot,
Yeah, but with more of your toes. More of your toes, yeah, like that.
Okay.
And then straighten your front foot out. No, I mean, put it sideways more.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I
now,
got you.
You always put your weight on your tail with your back foot, and your front foot basically guides the board. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Clearly, I just busted my ass. But I know that you recently had back surgery, and what was that like for you?
Okay, so I've had 3 back surgeries, okay? 3 lower back surgeries. It was about 12 years ago. It ended like my whole skateboarding, not career, but it just ended my whole, like, my world as far as skateboarding was involved.
I mean, it is.
Most people, if they're lucky, have one career in their lifetime. You have 2. How did you decide you wanted to pursue acting?
It kind of found me, to be honest. Like, I never dreamed of being an actor or any of that. All I was focused on was like skateboarding. And when my skateboard career like slowly dwindled and started ending, me and my ex-girlfriend moved to Los Angeles. I got my first job I ever had, which was at the Saddle Ranch on Sunset, and lots of industry folk come in there, and basically a manager came in there and was like, hey, are you an actor? I'm like, no. He's like, well, you got a really interesting look. I think I could get you lots of work. I mean, would you consider it? And he's like, here's my card. I think he just saw money, you know, like, and which is fine. So my first gig that I ever got in acting took me a few auditions, but I booked something. It was a lead in a John Mellencamp music video.
What?
Called Walk Tall. The addiction that I had for skateboarding that already kind of started dwindling adapted itself to acting.
Who are some of the actors that you have been inspired by?
First and foremost, Peter Dinklage, because when I watch him, I'm seeing myself represented up there. That's kind of like the only person that like we had, you know?
So you are a repertory actor, if you will, of Rob Zombie. Can you tell us how that happened and what that experience has been like?
I auditioned for this film that was called Beethoven 666.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers!
It was absolutely fabulous.
The director was Untitled. That's how the breakdown came. And basically I went in for this audition and just kind of made a choice just to make this place like my playground. It was, and your whole scene is you're torturing somebody. And so when I went into it, I just decided like to kind of just play it like it's my playground, but like happy. Like you're playing a clown. So I played it like really happy. And I guess it was very creepy. So I booked the role, and then, so he's like, you're gonna play Hitler clown? And I was like, what? And this is your outfit, and this is what you're gonna look like. He had the drawing all set up already. And then he was like, I saw on your resume that you speak Spanish. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I want you to say all your lines and just say them in Spanish. And just started yelling the worst things, like just awful things, and putting emotion behind it. And then for like a minute, and then I hear cut, 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 to the point where I'm almost like crying, you know, like in rage. And and Rob yells cut. He comes up to me. He's like, that was unbelievable. He's like, we're changing all your dialogue to Spanish. I'm like, is there gonna be subtitles? He's like, no. He's like, it's just something about someone that wants to kill you and you can't understand what they're saying. It's just creepy.
Número 3. Gringo mongólico, estúpido.
Can you talk about some of the obstacles that you have found your time working as an actor?
Yeah, of course. Honestly, like growing up and then being a skateboarder and being in that world, like I never really thought of myself as being disabled. It wasn't really pointed out to me until I moved to Los Angeles and became an actor and started going to auditions and meeting other little people. I never really met other little people until I moved to Los Angeles, and them going, hey, why don't you have a handicap pass? You can have one. And I was like, no, like, and I didn't think I was too good for it or any of that, but I just I didn't want to see myself in that way. And it took me a long time to kind of accept it. But then it's like when you have a handicap pass in Los Angeles, it's a lifesaver. No, you don't have to pay for any meters anywhere. Nowhere.
Wow.
Everything's free. You can park anywhere. Street permit parking only zones, loading zones, but with that said, it was just like, and being older is like, I accepted it and I was content with it. I was happy with it. But it was just a hard transition.
Can you tell us specifically what are some of the things you're doing to advocate for the disabled community?
Of course. Yeah, so my buddy Nick Novicki, who is a little person, he's the founder of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, which is a challenge to allow people of inclusion, people with disabilities, to be in front of or behind the camera. And he's been doing this film challenge for like the last 8 years. Last year, our film that we made, Dwarfopsychosis, won the whole thing. Now my wife and I have started our production company called Non-Standard Productions, which is all about inclusion, but also about creating content to allow people that don't have a voice to give them a voice. Create content where you might see me as a little person in the beginning, but by the middle of it, you're just seeing me as a person.
What's your favorite pair of shoes?
My Nike Chiffon shoes.
What's your least favorite pair of shoes?
Skechers.
What was your first job?
Saddle Ranch.
How did you meet your partner?
Broadway.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Yes, my wife is my soulmate.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories?
Getting my first bike from my stepdad.
What do you do in your free time?
Write jokes, paint, chores around the house.
If you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Don't get too close or you might get bit.
What kind of shoes would you be buried in?
Probably Converse, because it was the first shoe I ever skated in.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
But no matter how hard you fall, keep trying.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I want to thank you so much for tuning into AMNTS, A Mile in These Shoes. If you guys are digging the conversations that we're having in the shoes that we are profiling, do me a favor, hit that like button. Or if you really like what we're doing, do me another favor, hit that subscribe button. And comment. We want to hear your feedback. We want to hear how you liking the show, how you digging it, who you might even want to come on the show and be a guest. Yo, we love you, and I got one more question for you. What's it like to walk a mile in your shoes?